In this section, we're taking a look at multiplying polynomials. When we're multiplying polynomials, we're going to use what's called the distributive property. What that is we take the term outside of the brackets and we multiply each term inside the brackets by it. So here I have a times x plus a times y. Note that when I do use the word term, I mean a number or variable or combo of both. The terms are separated by plus and minus signs. This is one term. This is another term. So we take each of those terms and multiply it by the number outside, or value outside. Also, good to recall that when we have x squared, it means x times x. So some number, anything squared means we're multiplying it by itself twice. In the case of x cubed, it's x times x times x. So whatever the number is, whatever the exponent is here, that's how many times we're multiplying the base number. Thus, if I have x squared times x plus, or x to the third, or x cubed, x squared would be x times x. X cubed would be x times x times x. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's being multiplied. So it's the same as x to the 5. 2 plus 3 is x to the 5. So this is a total of 5 x's being multiplied. So that would simplify like that. A couple things to note because it's probably confusing. This dot here is just a multiplication dot. Note that it's not a decimal. A decimal would be down on the bottom. This is in the middle. So there is a difference in height, and that means that it is multiplication. I use that instead of a time sign because this can become confusing. X, is that x being 3 x's, or is that x times x? So we avoid using an x for multiplication. We either use a dot, brackets, or variables side by side. So as we have a couple examples here we'll work through quickly. Expand and simplify, we're multiplying each term inside by the number outside. It's good practice to write these arrows out so we know each of the multiplications we're doing. It'll become useful and when we move into multiplying two terms, binomials by binomials later on in the semester. So here we have 3 times x, or 3x, and then 3 times positive 4, which is positive 12. We can't get a number out of 3 and x, we just have 3 times x. That's all it gets to. So there is no number portion. We only multiply numbers by numbers, letters by letters. Otherwise, it's just a number times a letter left over. In the case of b, we have negative 4 times 2x. So we have negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. And then the x as well. And then we have negative 4 times negative 7, which would be positive 28. So that would be expanded. In the next case, we now have a variable in the front here. So we have a negative x. We're multiplying both of these terms by negative x. So negative times a positive is going to give me a negative. There's a 4 there with no other number to multiply it by. And then x times x squared. That's 1, 2, 3 x's. That's x cubed. Next we have negative x times positive 2. Negative times a positive is a negative. There's a 2. We can't multiply that with any numbers. And then an x because we can't multiply that with anything. So negative 4x cubed minus 2x. In the next case, we're starting with an x squared. So in that case, what we're going to do is set the multiply the x squareds. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's being multiplied there. X to the power of 4. And then x times 2x is going to give me plus 2x cubed, as we have 1, 2, 3 x's being multiplied. In the next two, we're getting a little bit bigger, but anything done differently here. We multiply the first term by negative 2x squared. We're going to get negative 12 x to the 5. Then we multiply the next pair. 2 negatives make a positive. 2 times 4 is 8. X squared times x squared is x to the 4. Finally, we're multiplying negative 2x squared by 4. Negative and a positive make a negative. 2 times 4 is 8. and then we have the x squared remaining. In this last one, we have a pair of brackets. So we have two separate multiplications. So we're going to multiply this set of brackets first. 3x times x squared, going to give me 3x cubed. 3x times 2 is going to give me 6x. Now we move on to the next set of brackets. We got negative 4x times x squared. That's going to give me a negative 4x cubed. And then we make our second multiplication. Negative 4 times 7, negative 7, sorry, is going to give me positive 28. And then there's an x stuck on the end there. Now we can collect our like terms to simplify this. We have 3x squared minus 4x squared. That's going to leave me with a negative 1x cubed, or sorry, x cubes on that one. Leave me with a negative 1x cubed. And then we have 6x plus 28x. 6 plus 28 is going to give me 34x. And there we have our equation simplified.